We're just gonna do it now. Okay.
Okay. Recording. So I go like this, right?
So I just don't know how to get them out of the waiting room, so that's why 9 people are in.
Get rid of that thing on the corner.
There you go. Okay.
2 minutes.
Yours off. 1 minute. Let's do it.
What do I do? Hit it.
So I see waiting room maybe. Message.
1 hour.
Mom?
No, she's not here. Okay, so that's all the girls. That's everyone in. So I would admit all. You want to do it?
Yeah. Go. Get it.
So they should be admitted. There, you can talk. They're all watching.
Take it easy.
Talk to them.
Hi guys, everybody in? Everybody hear me? You all should be muted right now. So use your little chat. You know, there's a little chat in the corner. So if you have questions, you can use it there. And we'll be talking. So listen to what I have to say. And then as you have questions, I'll be answering to you as it goes. Okay, so we're not going to stop everything because we want to move on and making sure we cover everyone. All right. So looking forward for some good conversations. All right, here we go. We still got people coming in, so give me another minute.
Good, you can talk. I can just
Admit.
okay. Yeah, I'll just keep doing that. You don't have to write.
All right, well, let's get started. Everybody can hear me, right? Just go like this with your head. Okay, the idea that we're going to try to do is that we talk about the new rules. That as you know, in the United States, in many ways, right now, the high schools, the colleges are still not using the new rules. So it's kind of setting us back just a little bit. So what we're going to try to do is explain to you how the new rules are going to help you, correct? We're not going to train you to be referees. So you don't need to know what the new rules are as far as referees are concerned. What you need to know is how the new rules are going to affect you as a player and what are the things you have to work on to become the best player in the next millennium, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. It's going to be what's going to happen in the next 10 years. All right, here we go. So first of all, last week, it was my 50th year at the senior level. That means I've been around doing these things for 50 years, right? So my first senior game was in 1970. So during the 50 years, I've seen some very major changes in the game. So I've seen it all the way from we went from a leather ball to a rubber ball. I've seen it where the goalies could now finally throw the ball past half court. I've seen it where they created 3-foul rule. I've seen it where they created a shot clock. All these are new rules that now you guys look at it and say, well, you know, yeah, that's the way the water polo game is. Well, these new rules that came up, there are 12. These new rules that came up, they're also in about another year or so, they're going to become just as anything else. So, all right, so let's go about the new rules. 5 of them, it doesn't really matter to you guys. So these are going to talk about it really quick because they don't really affect you as a player at all. What are they? Video to check brutality. Okay, that's a rule. That's number 11. Number 12, video to check if it was a goal or not through the VAR system. Again, doesn't affect you. Audio for the referees. The referees have to have audio in both ears so they can discuss things instead of stopping the game. Again, it doesn't affect you. 3-minute halftime. Instead of 5-minute halftime is only a 3-minute halftime. Again, doesn't matter. You're going to be training, before it used to be 2, went to 5, and now it's back to 3. The fifth one, that again, doesn't really make that much difference, is instead of having 4 timeouts, you have only 2 timeouts. But these 2 timeouts can be called anytime, including on the last minute of the game. You can call those 2 timeouts. These 5 rules, it doesn't really matter to you guys, okay? That's really more from a coach's point of view, the referee's point of view. These rules, forget about it. Okay, let's talk about the rules that make a difference. And actually, some of them are very exciting. I'm very excited about some of the new rules. Let's talk about it. First of all, goalie. Well, at the end of the game, there's always that everybody that's winning or is a tie and you're holding the ball. Well, now the goalie can go past half court. The goalie can be that 7th player on offense. So all of a sudden, it makes a huge difference that you can set up. As a coach last year, I was able to score 2 goals in World Championship formats that we scored 2 goals with our goalie. Because now all of a sudden you can set up with a goalie. You almost can set up a 6-on-5, but it's actually a 7-on-6. And with that being done, we should see training our goalies. If there's any goalies in this call, you definitely have to become a better shooter. You definitely have to become more of a team player, okay? Because it's going to make a difference. The passing itself is going to make a difference. We have to be able not only to make good passes, but make accurate and quick passes, because sometimes you have to play offense, okay? Next rule, that again, I'm going to go by importance, okay? The next rule, the corner throw. I just saw a game the other day with Spain, Serbia, where the guy shot the ball from the corner throw. Hey, your goalie's not paying attention. He's trying to double up at the center. All of a sudden, you take that shot from the corner. Again, that makes it more difficult for players to set up on a zone all the time and totally deny you the opportunity to play, okay? Substitution in the middle of the pool. Why is that so different? Because, think about it. How many times in a game you see people having to swim back because they're so tired and you basically lose an offense? Now you can have that center or maybe that defender sitting right there in the middle of the pool, and everybody's tired. You don't even have to say anything as a coach. You just swim there and you just continue with the counterattack, almost like in a V motion. So again, let's look here at our trusty board. So if I have my player right here, right? If I have my player right here, all of a sudden, as I'm coming back from defense, most of the time the center is here. He is tired. He's had to play offense, came back to defense. On the way, all he does is tag, and then the new center comes in. Again, that's tactical. That is amazing. You guys can start working on these kind of things. This substitution here shouldn't take more than about a quarter of a second. So the idea just to go under and tag with a hand, that's practice. Because if you do it wrong, remember, you're going to go back the other way. One of them that in America we have done for years is that the foul can be taking place now in the same place of the foul. So that means if you commit an offensive foul, now the ball is right there. That means they can put a ball in play and score right away. So you have to be careful, because that's the other rule that's going to be there, okay? These, let's just say, are the first 5, then the next 3. They're important. But let's say what's going to be fun. 6-meter foul. That is amazing. I mean, I am so excited about this new foul. You can even imagine how many things you guys can do to become amazing players. Think about it. The foul, first of all, we didn't have that. And then early in 2000, they brought in the 7-meter foul. Well, the 7-meter foul, there were like 5 guys in the world that could actually shoot the ball that hard, that could actually make a difference on a 7-meter foul. So that lasted for about 4 to 6 years. And then they said, well, that's too far. So they make it a 5-meter foul. Well, the 5-meter foul is too close. What happened, it really hurt the game a little bit, because it made the game actually being decided by 1 or 2 players, particularly in the younger level. You had this big kid. All he did is went to the 5-meter line and he shot the ball, and you had nothing else. What do? I mean, you've got this big guy. The only thing you can do is foul, and you foul him and he scores. So they talked about it. The other thing that did with that 5-meter foul that you have to understand, it took away the driving game. So you guys out there, they're drivers, we're going to have some fun out here, okay? Because what happened is, when you have the 5-meter foul so close, and the 2-meter man usually, even though supposedly sets at 2 meters, most of them do it at 3, there was not a lot of space to move. There wasn't a lot of space for you to go anywhere. So what happens is that the driving game kind of disappeared. That's so sad. Because the driving game, to me, is like the nicest thing. As a center, I was a center. What I used to love is seeing these nice drives, and you have this little timing RB and these little timing passes and deflection. Man, the game was beautiful. You know, can you imagine like a football game without the guy throwing the ball down the field? All you do is run. That would be pretty boring. Okay, so here's the game. How is that going to affect? You move to 6 meters. Now you got this 3 meters to work with, but it's not just about that. Not only can you now shoot the ball just like it was before, you get fouled, you can get up, and you go up, and you can shoot the ball. But what you're allowed to do right now is to get up, put the ball in place, swim to a better place, and shoot the ball. And the question is always, well, coach, can I drive inside the 6 meter line? Yes. So you can put the ball in place, swim to 2 meters, and shoot the ball. So let's say you're on a counterattack, you get fouled, the guy gets ejected, put the ball in place, swim all the way there, and put the ball away. You don't have to get it live with somebody else. You can get it live with yourself. It's important. You must get it live with yourself. The only way to get the ball live is by leaving your hand. So you can leave your hand up, you can leave your hand down, you can leave your hand forward, you can leave your hand to the side. That is putting the ball in play. Okay? But faking or swimming with the ball, that does not put the ball in play in any ways. So let's make sure we understand that, because that is huge. The other thing you can do with a foul, you now can use give and goes. You know, so you get up, the guy thinks you're going to get a foul, you put it in play to your teammate, boom, you drive inside and you get the ball back. Amazing. Okay? Another thing you can do. All right? So this to me is one of the most important changes that I see. And I really see in the world right now, I was at World Championships last year. We had a Pan American Games. I've seen all the games of the World League. And what I'm seeing is that teams are driving, like Spain, like Italy. These kind of teams are starting to do really well. I mean, they're winning World Championships. They're getting to the finals. Serbia's changed the way they're playing. They're now driving a lot more. I was just in Spain a few weeks ago. I'm watching the Spanish women train, and everything is movement. Everything is driving. Everything is give and goes. Players are becoming a lot more, let's say, not only can't be just that specific player. You have to be sure you have this main center. Yeah, like 6'9" and 300 pounds of pure muscle. But everybody's going to have to be a center. Everybody's going to have to be a little bit of a guard, because that's how the game is evolving. You guys are way better athletes than we were in the 70s. Just like the people in the 90s. They were great athletes. You guys are better than they are too. Athletes are getting better, faster. You have more opportunity to learn if you take advantage of it. Okay? That's the key. Second thing, we're still looking at how we're going to set up our offense, because this has also changed the center. But before we go on, give you a quick. Anybody have any questions about the 6 meter rule? If you have, just use your chat. You know, write down on your chat, and I can answer. You can write down on your chat next to you anytime, and I'll address your questions as it goes. So you don't have to wait until I stop talking. You can just write on the chat, and I will answer all your questions, okay? But let's move on. All right. So now the next thing that's happening is how is the center? How's the center is going to be used on all this? I mean, is the center changing? You got to think to yourself. Before, let's look what the center did in, like, let's say, before the new rules. You had this big guy that just kind of sat there, or big girl, they just kind of sat there, and they would just hold position, right? And the ball came in and they tried to score because there was no driving. But if you look at a center in the 80s, not only was he there to scoring, but he's there as a passer, okay? So this is coming back a little bit more, because now not only you're starting to see a few more fouls being called without being exclusions, so it's a foul at 2 meters, because as you get fouled, there's somebody driving, you got to make the pass. So that means we need to work. If you're a center out there, we need to go back to work on our hands, okay? Not only about shooting, but also on the passing, reading the drops, reading the zones, because the zone now is a little further away. It's not going to be that permanent zone that just sits there like a Christmas tree. No, it's going to be that in and out zone. It's going to see a lot more 2-3-4s and 2-3s and 3-4s. So as a player, you have to understand that, hey, I'm a center now. I need to be more mobile. I need to understand what's going on. So what we're starting to see is a new generation of centers, you know, like the Spanish center, the Italian center, even some of the new centers at Croatia. Of course, they still have great players like Dobud and some of these other big ones. On the women's side, the large ones like Paula from Spain and stuff like this. But all of a sudden, you look at a player like Maggie, for example, or a player like Tankaeva, or a player like, you know, let's say Kistelecki, a player like this. Some of these players around the world are the ones that are very quick. They're the ones that are creative. They can play all positions. I mean, Maggie could play every position. And that's what you want to be. To be great now is to be able to be a little more diversified. You don't want to be just like, well, I can sprint. That's kind of boring. You know, you have to be able to do other things. So the center, excuse me, I got to have a little cup of coffee. So the center is going to be a much more, let's say, different position than in the past. And what you're also going to see is the offenses with the new rule that off the counterattack is 30 seconds, but off the rebound and the 6-on-5, you only get 20 seconds. And you say, well, Rico, that's not very nice. Well, think about it. The reason you get 30 seconds is because you got a counterattack and you're all the way on the other side of the pool. So now you're coming in on the other side of the pool, so you'll have 20 seconds of offense. So if you get a rebound or you get a 6-on-5 right in front of you, 20 seconds should be plenty. But that also means that the old, let's just say, the old, what did they used to call, pass the ball around on a 6-on-5. You know, I'm sure your coaches have said that, right? In the old days, it used to happen all the time. I remember when I played back on the dinosaur days, and the coaches used to say on a 6-on-5, they used to say, okay, everybody has to touch the ball twice. Well, that's because we used to have a minute for 6-on-5, okay? A minute. I mean, you know, think about it, a minute. But like I said, you know, that was me, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and all the other old guys they used to play. That's how we used to play. But now you got 20 seconds. Not 20 seconds to shoot the ball. 20 seconds, you lose the ball, right? In the old days, you say, well, it's 20 seconds, coach. It hasn't changed. Yeah, but you still have the other 10 that the guy's coming even. Not anymore. 20 seconds is 20 seconds. That means that 20 seconds, the ball turns over. So you don't have time anymore to that little passing drill. Okay, make sure everybody touches the ball. Go to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. Don't have time for that. What you're going to find, and you can do it yourself, by the way, it's a lot of fun. Take a look at some of the videos that you have in YouTube. Azevedo Water Polo, 6'8 Sports, also put out some great video out there. Take a look at the video and you start counting. And you're going to see that the, the 6-on-5s, they have very good percentage are the ones between that third and the fifth pass, okay? The ones that are before the 1 and 2, it's kind of a hit and miss, and we're not really good at that. The Hungarians are good at that. The Croatians are good at that because they go for that big pass right off the bat. But usually between 3 and 5 is your best 6-on-5s. If you try to go beyond that, what you're going to find out is that now most defenses, and that will be another Zoom that we can do. I'm going to be talking to you about how to go in and out of defenses. But most of the defenses now on 6-on-5, they're going to be attacking in the last 2 to 3 seconds. So again, don't waste time in the beginning. Make sure you have plenty of time to the end, okay, because that is huge. And then the only other thing that I could say are the new rules that we have to make sure we are aware of, and that is important, so pay attention here, is ask yourself, what should I be doing, particularly right now that we're all trying to be good at being at home? Okay, it's fine. It's a tough time, but you know what? It can also be an advantage for the people that really want to work, because there's some people that sit at home watching television and eating donuts. But then there's also the people that are home saying, okay, what am I going to do to make myself better than somebody else? If I have a pool at home, that's great. I don't have a pool at home. All right, I got a wall. I got a ball. Oh, I don't have a water polo ball. It's a ball. It doesn't matter. There's always things you can work on. So here's the question we need to ask. And that's the question I'm going to pose to you guys. And you guys are going to tell me, you know, with your questions right now. If I see the new rules, seems like everything is moving towards movement, quickness, athleticism, everything. Think about it. Substitution in the middle, putting the ball in play, give and go, more space for driving, less time on 6-on-5, better decision making. So everything is moving towards that. We're not talking about the coaches, okay? The coaches, they need to plan the workout, and of course, he has to think about that. But as a player, what? What do you think you need to work on? Well, coach, I'm really big. I'm 6'5", and great. But what do you need to work on? Oh, coach, I'm 5'10". What do you need to work on? These are the questions that I want to hear because we can help you. There are videos for everything. There are videos for you to become, getting more arm speed, to increase your shot velocity, to make sure you become better ball handler, how to catch the ball in different ways so you can now create different shots because now you're going to be in a move. You're not just sitting out there on the top like a tree and just going boom. Now somebody's going to come at you. You got to be able to give and go. You got to be able to shoot your legs to one side, the legs to the other, moving backwards, moving forward, using a little bit more of the elevator ride. Okay, your spider legs have to come up a lot more. So these are the things that we can make you a better player. Your core strength. You're going to change the way you run zones. Zones are going to be run differently. It's not like it just was before. A lot of the zones that I've seen and watching not just high school, but college and club games, I see a lot of times zones are very much just kind of standing still, just with their hands up, and maybe if the guy comes forward, you attack. There's not many of those zones left, guys. Most of the zones now are in constant movement. You will run 2-3 zones on every defensive series. You guys are great athletes. You guys are great athletes. And that means you just need to keep working on that. All right? Come on. Give me a question. Come on, give me a question. Give me a question. I'm talking too much. Come on, you guys give me a question out there. I'm waiting. Where's the question? Type it up. Don't be like that kind of class that doesn't ask questions. Come on. Papa, don't preach here. Come on, like the song says by Madonna, right? I mean, I don't want to preach. I want to be able to get some questions out there. All right. Okay. Let's see. No, nothing. All right. Oh, all right. Well, it's coming up. I think I see some people pushing their little finger down. I understand some of you do the old chicken pecker kind of typing. That's good. I'm waiting. All right. Okay. Well, let's move on. As you guys put your questions out there, I will answer, but they're coming. The one thing is that, like, for example, like we talked about the Maggie, on the women's side, some of the great players. I mean, U.S. have so many great players, but obviously Maggie is definitely a key player. But again, when you look at some key players out there, should look also by position, right? So, I mean, if you ask yourself and you say, all right, anybody can say, well, who's the best player in the world? Everybody can say one guy or two guys or one girl, two girls. But I want you to ask yourself like this. So who's the best driver in the world? Who's the best quick driver in the world? Because you do that in basketball. Who's the best point guard? Who's the best shooting guard? So now I'm asking you, well, who's the best driver in the world? And who's the best post-up driver in the world? Now, if you have one person, it can be both. Now you're really talking. Huh? You start thinking about that. So now, if I think about two different positions, I can be a quick driver or I can be a post-up driver. Now I just created two positions. Want to create a third? Let's create a third together. So now, I'm not really that quick, but I can't really post, but I'm really smart. I'm a clear driver. What I do is I break zones because I know how to be able to just drive and then drive behind the center and then try to lose the player because I'm really, really fast. I'm not great with the ball, but I have great legs and I'm really quick. So instead of just being a driver or a post-up driver, now I'm going to be that guy that's going to break every zone out there. If I'm a coach, I would have a guy like that on the team. So now I got three drivers. Now there's three different positions that you can work for. All right? So let's continue. I'm a perimeter player, outside player. All right? So in the past, you have, he's the shooter. He shoots from position 2. He shoots from position 4. He shoots from position 3. We just said that now you have a lot of what kind of zones? Movement zones. The zones are moving. They are going all over the place, right? What kind of shooter are you going to be? Do you do well when the person is coming at you? Can you beat the block when there's a stationary block? Do you know how to use your legs either with a donkey kick or with two spider leg motions to the right or the left? These are the things you're looking for, okay? So we have a great question over here. The first one for Maddie. So if you're a driver, should you learn to play center as well? Yes, Maddie, I definitely agree with that. I think if you are a driver in today's game, you will have to post up at times. So one of the best things to do is that you're not really becoming a center. We will be talking about center in later Zooms also. And that is, there's different types of centers. In reality, there are 6, okay? So what you want to do is become the 5th center. The 5th center is what we call post up, okay? That's the person that if things are not happening, you happen to get somebody that is not as strong, you're going to take them as a post up, usually coming in from 1 or coming in from 5. That's what we call post up. Then as a driver, you have 6. 6 is the one that drives the person in and post up. So these are the 2 positions, center 5 and center 6. As a driver, you should definitely work on. I think the key on that is to go from horizontal to vertical as quickly as you can, because referees traditionally also will pay off post-up centers more than centers. And the reason for that is not that they're trying to not be nice guys. It's just natural. A person that's a center is being guarded by a defender. And obviously there's 2 experts in a position. When you come in as a driver, and if you are a good post-up driver, you're usually not being guarded by a professional defender. So that person is probably going to be more eager to try to come steal the ball, or he's going to probably try to come over in some way, and then the referee is going to kick that person out. So putting that in your repertoire can really advance you as a player. Great question, Maddie. All right, let's go to the next one here. Connor, how does the new rule affect the defender position? Very good question too, because it does make a difference. Even though that there's no rule written, what's happening is that because the center is becoming more mobile, what we are seeing traditionally in the past is that you could kind of stay behind the center and just kind of push, and push them into a zone. That's kind of what it used to be before. Or you try to front, of course. But fronting, you remember, as you get to become a better center, it becomes harder and harder to front. You're going to be able to front for maybe 3 or 4 seconds. That's about it that you can do in a fronting situation. But, all right, so how is the defender position being called now? Very simple. You are behind, you're going to get ejected, okay? You're going to get excluded because when their mind is the center's trying to play by reaching towards the ball, moving side to side, going post to post, and really looking to make – just knocked down the ball, guys. Sorry about that. Really looking to make things happen. And the center just sitting there with the guy, playing, in a sense, it looks like a hanger, he's just like a hanging on the guy, or maybe just riding, going for a ride. So that kind of defender is no longer accepted. So what we see now about the great defenders in the world is they use their hand more to create a little more space, putting the hands in the middle of the back or a little bit lower, and they create a little more space and then move their hips up a little more so you can actually use your spider legs to kind of jump around and then use your coming around in the zone at the same time to deter that center. So I think what you're going to do is that the defender now has to work a lot more with the zone defenses. And of course, when it's a press, then you just have to try to take a side, not so much totally in front, take a side, and then really make sure that the other side that you're not taking is completely on a press. And what I mean by press, we're not talking soft press. We're talking hard press. That means the ball cannot come in, all right? That's something you need to understand, too, when you talk to yourself. If you're pressing somebody, challenge yourself. That ball is not coming in here. And if it is, something's wrong. This is the kind of press we're going to be doing now. Great question, Connor. All right, here we go. I'm with Tricia. I'm a center. So what are some of the drills you recommend doing in dry land and use same muscles and motions? Also, do I need to get better at playing outside since there are going to be more drivers? Okay, that's exactly what we got. That's great questions out there, man. I love talking to you guys. I'm going to get fired up here. We're going to become a 3-hour 3-hour video. All right. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're a center, actually, there's a lot of things you can do at home. A lot of things you can do at home. I mean, I was a center, and trust me, I mean, you know, back in the days, like I said, dinosaur days, sometimes the pool, you know, it wasn't that clean. So let's put it that way. So, you know, let's see how we're going to work out. First of all, you have a Swiss ball or something you can sit on so that creates some strength on your hips, okay? As you sit on a Swiss ball, you get a bouncer in front of you, or you get a wall in front of you, and all of a sudden you're working all the different kind of hand drills, but you're working on your legs because you're sitting on a Swiss ball, the big ball. So you're working on your legs constantly like you're doing the pool. You're moving left, and you're moving right, you're moving left, and you're using the hand. You can get a band, lay down on the ground, put the band in the fence, wrap your legs around the band, and I'll be showing you that later through a 6-8 Sports and Azevedo water polo, okay? Wrap your legs around that, and now you're doing egg beater like the band itself is the water. And as you're doing that, you can be doing crunches at the same time and also playing with the ball. These are things you can do all the time, okay? One of my favorite drills to work with centers. A center needs to learn how to block. You know what? The best thing to block is a wall. So what you do is get a wall behind you like this, and then again, push against the wall, and then use your legs, like put in one leg and push it against the wall, and then go to the other leg and push it against the wall, and go to the other side and push it against the wall, and push it against the wall. Because what you have to do is you have to create muscle memory. You have to create something that when it gets into the pool, boom, you're done. If you have to think about, what should I do? It's too late. It's too late. As you get to the center, you got to feel the defender. If you feel the defender, by the time the defender touches, it's already too late. You got to feel the defender start coming to your right. You got to learn what? 360 turn, 180 turn, swimming moves. These are all kinds of things that you can do. You know, you can do the old, I call them the disco move, you know. So that's because, like I said, I'm old. All right, so the disco move is here. So you're sitting over here and you feel the person here. You goes like, and you come right under it. You come right under that person. All of a sudden, I don't have to elbow. I don't have to grab. All I do is I feel it. I feel the person coming in. I dip my shoulder. Always keep my head up because I need to know where the ball is. I dip my shoulder and I slide. All I did. So these are things you can do with a wall, with a band, with a rebounder, with a friend. You got a big dog? Hold the big dog. Try to keep the dog away from coming around you. There's got to be creative, guys. We have to be creative, and this is great. You got to have creativity, all right? Great questions. Let's see, what's the other one? About playing on the outside. You know what? I feel that every player should at least, you don't have to be great at everything, but over the years, as I said, it's been 50 years in the sport. And I've been involved with the Olympic Games now for about 36 years, okay? I've been a coach 3 times in the Olympics, but I've been involved with some type of involvement of the Olympics in about 36 years. And what I find is that the players that are more versatile have a better chance. So you need to be good at everything and great in one or two. You cannot be the greatest outside shooter, but a great outside shooter, good defender, good passer, good, you know, so you have to make sure that you are good at everything, and then you can concentrate on what you're going to be great at. All right? Guys, it's 30 minutes. I hope you had fun. We're going to do this again, and the next time we're not going to talk about the rules, but we're talking about specific positions, but the biggest thing, like, keep an eye on it. We're going to be putting a lot more videos from 6-8 Sports and Azevedo's, but we're here for you, all right? And love seeing all of you guys, happy faces, and then working for the best, all right? Rico's out. Bye-bye.